see what she's made of. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over a 2021 Kia Sorento EX with the turbo. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Signer Kia here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with the Sorento. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It's actually a dual clutch automatic. Fuel economy is 21 around town and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 281 horsepower and then 311 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Sorento. So first and foremost, I absolutely love the design they've done on the hood here. You can see they've got that bulge there in the center. Definitely makes it look a whole lot more muscular from a front end perspective. And then you can see these lights. This is a huge upgrade from the previous generation Sorento. You've got the LED reflector lights with the LED accent light. If you guys are running the lights that aren't on, those are part of the high beams that come with this car. And then you can see you've got the little signature Kia logo right there. The thing I think is pretty cool is how they've integrated the fog lights into the front fascia here, which I think is really cool. Like, if you don't look close, then you can't really tell that it has fog lights, which again, I think is another nice little touch. And then you got the venting there on the side. I think that's also really good looking as well. But yeah, overall, the front end here definitely looks really modern and muscular. Coming around the side here, you've got two 35mm tires and 18-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. As for the design, we're going to call these the starfish wheels. It looks like a little star, which I think is really cool. I love the wheel design on pretty much every single Kia. They just do a really good job with the wheels, just make them look really premium. I absolutely love the gloss black fender flares as well. I think it's another nice little touch. And then you've got the little gloss black there on the side and on the top of the mirrors as well. Just really nice accenting. And so overall, this makes this car look a whole lot more premium. And there's your full side view. Now let's actually pop into the rear here of the Sorento. So first and foremost, you've got this little loop right here. If you pick this up, you can see there's some extra storage space within it, and you've got your stuff if you ever get stuck on the side of the road. But anyways, with the seats, so these back seats are pretty easy. You just pull this little strap, it does the headrest, and then you can throw the seat down, and you guys can see just how much storage space there is. And then if you do the second row as well, there's just tons of storage space back here in general. And then when you're done, you just pull the seat back up, pull the headrest back up. Pretty simple in the functionality. Over here, we can see that we've got a little 12-volt right there, and then this is for the second row. So like, you just press the little button and then it does the same thing. So pretty easy. And then there's a USB over there on the other side. But other than that, that is the back of the Sorento. Now let's go over the rear end of the Sorento. So first and foremost, you guys can see you've got all of your regular badges here on the back end, and then I absolutely love these taillights. Now I do like the taillights a little bit more on the Telluride, but I think these are still really good looking taillights. And then you can see on the gloss black trim here at the bottom, you've got the parking sensors here, and then the exhaust tip is just hidden down there at the bottom again. And they don't really want to break up the beautiful design that's happening here in the rear end, so they kind of hide the exhaust tip. But yeah, overall, I love the back end. Here's the door panel on the rear of the Sorento. So you guys can see you've got the nice leather there with the stitching, and then I really like the wood trim just up above around the door handle. I think it's another nice little touch. And then I think that's a cup holder. Yes, that's a cup holder. It's in the weirdest place ever, but I mean, it actually makes sense. Now coming here to the seat, you guys can see again, you got the full leather with the stitching all throughout the seats, perforations there on the center. They look and feel really nice. And let's actually pop into the Sorento. So stepping in, step in height is perfect. You just pretty much slide right into the seat. If you're wondering, I'm 5'11", I've got a good amount of headroom, and then legroom is solid back here as well. You can see you get some vents here in the rear, and then more areas where you can charge some devices as well. And then yes, they've got USBs on the back of the seats, which I think is another cool little touch here with the Sorento. And then in terms of the third row, so headroom back there is actually pretty solid. Legroom is a little bit on the tight side, but you can fit adults back there. I just recommend, you know, putting kids back there for longer trips. And other than that, well, this is the back of the Sorento. Here's the door panel at the front of the Sorento. So you guys can see, again, you've got the really nice leather there with the stitching and the beautiful wood trim just up above. All of your window controls and your mirror adjustments in that little area right next to all of it. And then we've got the seats here at the front. So again, you got the nice leather with the stitching all throughout, and then you got the perforations there in the center of the seats. All of your adjustments here on the side of the seat. And then we've got the pedal layout just down below. And then up here, we've got the little hold for the hatch. You've got your lane departure assistance, then your stability control as well. The steering wheel is manually adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. Now here's the steering wheel with the Sorento. You can see you've got full soft touch leather all around the steering wheel with a nice stitching there on the center portion. And then zooming into the steering wheel, you've got our controls for the adaptive cruise control system, and then you've got your lane keep assist right there as well. Controls for the center stack on top of that. And over on the other side, you got your voice command controls, volume controls, phone controls, all that normal stuff. And then you got little stock for the turn signal, and then the lights on that side. And then you got your stock for the windshield wipers on the other side. Overall, everything on the steering wheel looks really nice. I like the design overall, and then I like the material use as well. Now here is the gauge cluster. We've got the RPMs on the left side. On the right side, you've got the speed, and then you do have that little center screen which you can scroll through a couple different menus just to give you different bits of information on the vehicle. Nothing too crazy. Most modern cars have something like this. The cool part is the drive mode. So you've got the snow mode, then you've got the eco mode, those two, and then you've got the comfort, and then you got the sport, and then you've got the smart. I just like how it kind of like changes the coloration of the screen a little bit. Pretty straightforward with the drive modes though, nothing too crazy, and it's just really easy to go through the drive modes, which I appreciate. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, let's pop into reverse. You guys can see the backup camera. It does have trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Resolution on the camera is really good as well. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, we got these shortcut buttons on either side, and then you have the shortcut buttons on the screen as well. Really easy to use. It comes with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Response time on the screen is really solid. And then you do have a quiet mode, so you can have like the music just play for the front seats and have it really quiet for the rear. So obviously if you wanted to listen to music while your kids were sleeping in the car, then now it's possible in the Sorento. Now I've got the climate controls here in this little area. You can see it's a dual zone climate, but that's not the cool part. The cool part has to pertain to the vents. I just love the setup of these vents. Super weird. So obviously it's practical because you have the vents that'll have the airflow go and warm up your legs, and then obviously warm up your upper body, but it just looks absolutely crazy. And I don't know, I love it when things are quirky like that, just different. And then you got this covering here if you want to cover the little USBs, all that kind of stuff. And then the wireless phone charger that also lives its life in that little area. But yeah, overall, that's cool, but these vents, this is where it's at, guys. Just down below, as you can see, we've got our little heated seat controls for the driver and for the passenger, and then we got that shifter for that 8-speed dual clutch automatic, and yes, you can shift the gears yourself if you want. And then just down below, we've got our drive mode select right there, and then we've got a bunch of controls here in this little area right next to the cup holders. So you've got your auto stop start, your auto hold, your hill descent control, and then you get your little parking brake right here with your parking sensors, and then this is for the camera. We'll press that, and then you can see you've got a locker. So this does have some off-road cred. Now you can see you've got the camera that'll pop up. Pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy with that. And then yes, you can zoom in if you do want to hook up to something with this as well, trailer-wise. So pretty practical overall. Now I've got the full center console set up here, so soft touch there on the top with all the stitching, and then you can see tons of storage space within. And then coming over to the glove box, again, good amount of storage space. I love the wood trim up above, and then notice they have stitching there on the dash as well, but the wood trim, again, that's where it's at. So the wood trim and the vents, that's like what makes this car, just saying. Up top here, we've got the little light controls, pretty straightforward with the use on that. Lighter colored headliner, no center for anything like that. And then you do have a mirror that has a dimmer built into it. Again, pretty straightforward, and that's all for the top. Well, now that we're done going over the interior on this Sorento EX, let's quickly get into the pricing. So, in terms of pricing, this Sorento EX stickers for about $38,000, which really surprised me. When I looked at the window sticker, I was expecting this car to be like 50 grand, and it's $38,000. So, like, I don't know, that was surprising to me. But anyways, let's take this Sorento EX out and see how it drives. Talk about visibility before we set off here in the Sorento. So you guys can see visibility over the hood. It's really easy to see out of it. Pretty standard for an SUV of this size. Here's your visibility through both the mirrors, and they do come with blind spot monitoring. And then here's all throughout the rest of the rear, which, I mean, especially with the seats down, visibility is great. The window is a little bit on the small side, but again, it kind of plays with the overall design of the car, which looks really cool. And, well, let's set off. We are setting off here in the Sorento EX, and I've actually never driven around this dealership area, so hopefully we don't get lost, guys. If we do, I guess we'll go on an adventure for today's review. But initially setting off, the ride quality is really nice with the Sorento. So I actually haven't driven the Telluride in about a year, but I've driven quite a few Palisades recently, and this feels super similar to the Palisade from a driving experience perspective. And that car definitely drives like a luxury car. So this is pretty much the same in terms of like how it feels. Steering's really nice. It's got a good amount of low-end torque. I really like this turbocharged engine. So obviously the Palisade and the Telluride have that naturally aspirated 3.8 liter V6, but you know what? I actually prefer this to that. I mean, obviously I am at about 4,500 feet elevation, so having turbochargers up here obviously helps out quite a bit compared to a naturally aspirated engine. Let's try to take a turn here. I don't know. Hopefully we get somewhere, guys. But obviously turbos are king up here, but still I like the overall feel. It's so torquey compared to that engine. That engine, you definitely have to get into it a little bit more, whereas this, it just gets up and goes. The only vehicle that I've recently driven that's a little bit different than this engine wise obviously is that Genesis GV80. That one again is the turbo V6, so that one's absolutely crazy. This reminds me of like a mini GV80. That's kind of what this Sorento is basically, which, I mean, you're not in bad company if you're a mini GV80, just saying. But yeah, overall ride quality is really smooth with this car, and I mean, it's so comfortable in general. It's really quiet as well. We're actually pretty close to the interstate, and we're just like in an industrial area in general, which obviously is a pretty noisy place to be, but this is not bad at all. I am going to pop it over into the sport mode here, so we can get our acceleration in just a moment. I think I can turn up here. I don't know, again, I don't know what's happening, but we're gonna make do with this. Yeah, those manual shifts are wonderful. This transmission's really quick, so let's see what she's made of. Oh, those gear shifts are beautiful. So really quick responsive transmission, even in like the downshifts. Obviously dual clutches are quick. I love this SUV. So the gear shifts are really quick and direct. Even the downshifts are really nice. So from a driving experience, it actually makes it exciting to drive, and with that turbocharged engine, it does a really good job. And that'll actually get me into summing things up here with this Sorento. So if you're looking for a third row SUV, obviously this is one of them that you should check out. Pretty straightforward, right? But if you're looking for a kind of like fun, sporty third row SUV, that's where the Sorento really shines. I definitely prefer how this drives compared to the 3.8 liter V6 that's in the Telluride. This feels sportier than the Telluride, and the Telluride's supposed to be the sporty one. It looks cooler, but I don't know. I think this one looks really beautiful from the exterior. I think they're both pretty close. Interior is top notch. I mean, like I said, before I looked at the price, I thought this was going to be like 50 grand. And then when I see that this car is 38 grand, I don't know, I was surprised. And so as an overall package, I think this is a great, comfortable third row SUV. I feel like it's a really good value. It's fun to drive. The transmission's fantastic. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. And so if you're looking for a third row SUV, definitely check out this new Sorento. So that is going to sum things up for our video on this 2021 Kia Sorento EX. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Signer Kia here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Sorento. Check out their inventory in the link below. I will see all of you in the next video.